tell you, I love this man, and you know, Kerry, I've been, well, I'm getting older. And one of the things that I found out, right, is that they say when you get old, the muscles are not so important, and I never had those, so I never had to worry about that. But stretching, right? Stretching is one of those things they say when you get older, it's a good thing to get stretching. But the truth is, life will stretch you.
Yes, it will.
And you've been stretched not only as a football player, but a husband last year. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, this last year has been, I have been stretched out a lot as a husband, as a football player. Me and my beautiful wife, she's not here with me today. She's back in Louisiana. You know, the game of football takes a lot from us. It takes a lot of our time. It gets us away from family at times. We go to training camp. That's 3 or 4 weeks where we don't get a chance to see our loved ones. We don't get a chance to see your kids. And this past year, me and my wife, all the way dating back to last year, been trying to increase our family. And last year, things didn't work out for us. And we've been trying for a little one. We've been trying to get a little Kerry Joseph to come through Ryderville. And you know what? This year, in May, God blessed us. And we had the opportunity to find out that we were pregnant. So you can imagine that coming to training camp, again, the excitement that was there, the excitement to get the phone call from my wife while she was back at home to let me know that we finally did it. But then things changed, because being in training camp, I get the phone call to find out that we had a miscarriage. Now you can imagine, I'm in training camp with my guys, but my wife is back in Louisiana, 1,000 miles away. That's a long stretch. And life stretched us right there. And I was at that point at one time of not knowing how to deal with that. Because if you can only imagine talking to someone on the phone a long ways away, and I could hear her, that her faith and her walk was fading. But I was here with my teammates, my other family, and I was being stretched between the two, not realizing what God wanted me to do. And when I felt her faith being stretched, mine was. And it was a tough situation at that moment. And the thing that really got me through it was a quote that I have in my phone. And it talks about the good news. And the good news is, when our faith collapses beneath the weight of unbelievable circumstances, He gives us faith and hope to continue on. So I had to find a way to stand my ground and to be there for my wife, because it really crushed her. And it's almost like I couldn't do anything, where I had to almost make a decision: do I walk away from the game of football? And it was tough. And sometimes, you know, we get stressed out on the football field before we go out, you know, get loose. You know, you want to be loose and get ready to go. I was at a point where life had pretty much stretched me to the point of, where do I go? Do I continue on, or do we quit? But being a man and being a husband, I had to find a way to bring her on, to build her back up. I couldn't show her my weakness. I had to try to stand and be that husband, and the only way I could do that was to stand on God's foundation and stand on the hope and faith that God has given us, and the foundation all the way back from the time when Mom started taking me to church, and to realize that God has a better way and God has a plan for us. And once I was able to get that and get my wife up to Edmonton, to bring her closer to me, now we can come together in God, and we can lean on that faith. We can lean on that hope to know that God has a plan that's greater than our plan. His will is greater than our will. And it's amazing, because the season we went through, I felt that what I was going through with my wife allowed me to be that man in that locker room with my teammates. To, when we got stretched out as a team, to bring us back together. And to use those circumstances that God brought us through. Because he does have a better way. And me and my wife, we understand that now. That it's in his time. It's in God's will.
So you're saying part of that very difficult circumstance helped you to deal better with what was going on in your locker room. How close did you come to quitting football?
I came real close. The time I found out was going into week 1. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was on day 2. And I found myself just going down to my knees and asking God, what did he want from me? What did he want from my family? Because in football, I was being stretched a little bit. And then in life, I was being stretched. And I actually picked up the phone and I told my wife I would walk away from this game to come home to be with her. Because that's how bad she was hurting. But she was in it to win it for me also. And it took a good 48 hours to really get my thoughts together and just ask God what he wanted me to do. Because I was at that point, after 15 years, ready to just say, you know what, guys, it's been great to walk in Cater's office and tell him, Cater's, I love you, but I gotta go home. I gotta take care of mama, like we say. I gotta go home. So it was very close for me to walk away from the game that I've been playing since the age of 9 years old.
So we hear again, there's a strong woman that buys into the purpose of her husband, that partnership that Shelley spoke of. So in essence, football is not the biggest thing in your life then?
It's not. It's living for God. The platform that he has given us, standing on his stage, and that platform that we were raised, where people look up to us outside of the world of football, where teammates look up to you. And that's when I realized that football is just a small part of me. It's just what I do. And I realized that standing in the locker room at the age of 28 this year, being the oldest guy in the locker room at the age of 28, I had some guys that were looking up to me to see how I handle certain situations. And when we went through an 8-game losing streak, guys were looking to me to find out how you handle the tough times. Guys were coming to me about relationship problems. And that's when I realized that God had me in Edmonton for something bigger than the game of football. It wasn't a win-loss record. It wasn't trying to get to the Grey Cup. It was to minister to the guys in the locker room and to be that word, that message that sometimes the guys don't get in the Bible by opening their Bible, but they get it through speaking to someone. That's when I realized, and the tough times I've gone through in the years leading up to this year, that I'm in this game for something bigger. It's not about Kerry Joseph. It's not about wins and losses. It's about serving God, and it's about living in his will.
See a sermon, then hear one any day. So thanks for being that sermon in the locker room. And I want to give you the last word here. You are, after all, the MVP of the last Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Rough Rider team. And so, given that, anything else you'd like to say? Anything,
I do want to say something real quick. I've been here since Saturday, and I've been doing some ministry with Athletes in Action. I've been in the schools since Monday, non-stop. And just being around Riderville, I was able to do something with you all that I didn't get a chance to do after the Grey Cup. We had a chance to celebrate with the team, but then I was traded. And I never had a chance to really enjoy 2007 championship with the fans. And this year, I mean, this week has been a remarkable week with the autographs, the photos, and I just want to say thank you all for everything that you all done for my 2 years here. And I'm grateful that I had a chance to be a part of this city and what you all have built across the CFL. And it's been remarkable, and I just want to say thank you to all of y'all for everything that y'all meant to me. This place will always have a special place in my heart, and it's great, and I wish both teams the best on Sunday. I wish Ryderville the best. Don't ask for a prediction, because I'm not going to give it. Like I've been saying all week, Hamilton is going to win the first half, the Riders the second half. Overtime, and the best team win. God bless you.